a conversation about previously was that, you know, it's important to have police officers who live in the communities that they patrol, and how important is that for the other departments and the other precincts to take seriously?
Is that not how it works here?
No, it's not at all, and it's economic. And I'll tell you, that's everything. And I'll tell you why I can tell you that. For this individual sitting here in this seat, that's everything. Because I grew up, you know, in the West Village, and the police officers there was, I think, the 6th precinct, if I'm remembering correctly, on that. You know, we played stickball on the street. It was obviously a lot of different time. You know, I mean, there were only, 12 channels on the, you know, I'm an old school guy.
Cobblestone roads.
Yeah, we still. No, actually, Bank Street was still, man. That's a Boston guy, man. Love this guy.
Yeah,
old
I mean,
school.
Soho is still cobblestone too.
Yeah, no, Soho was. Yeah, I lived in Soho too, man. I went to Soho when Soho was vacant
it was
at the time before it was like, you know, the art and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that was you know, that's an example of somewhat gentrification in a way. Although that's not really appropriate there because that was mostly textile or industry that kind of moved out of there, you know, kind of like that stuff at the time. But to what you were
saying, we're getting a little all over. But to what you're saying,
love
like,
you. This is why I can talk to you
grew
forever.
up, I grew up where I grew up. We were in the 63rd precinct. We knew the cops.
Well,
the cops knew our parents, and they kick our asses and take us home if we were bad.
Dude, that was it. My mom,
you know, but they knew us.
Come home sometimes from school. My mom, I literally, there's a cop sitting, a uniformed cop.
Yeah.
Sitting having a cigarette and a cup of coffee with my mom. My mom was like the mayor, you know. Like I said, she was just this type of lady.
Yeah.
And stuff. And you know, but the cops, I mean, we were playing stickball, you know, Leroy Street Park. My boy Don Warren, you know, and they would come, they'd play with us. They'd be walking, they were on a foot beat. They were assigned to that area for a long time. My mailman was my mailman forever. Right. People were so familiar. And what's happened, and this is one of the things, you know, that.
But isn't that something that why wouldn't they take what kind of works on the East Coast and bring it? Because like where I remember in Boston, like I grew up in a suburb outside of the city, and I believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe when I was a kid, you could live in the suburbs and be a Boston cop. But what happened was, they were taking patrol cars home, doing all this stuff, and because things were happening with guys that weren't from the city kids were like, fuck you. So then it became, unless you had a Boston address, you couldn't be a Boston or police.
Oh, really? I don't
police or fire in the city of Boston. So you have to have an address of where you want to be an officer. And that's how it is now. So a lot of guys...
Wait. How is it now in Boston?
Yeah, like you can't be a Boston police officer unless you have a Boston address. So what some guys will do
I see what you're saying.
is my mom lives in Boston, I'll use her address, I think. But for the most part, because what that does is now, am I pissed off that I'm getting arrested by Joe that I went to 3rd grade with?
No.
Yeah, but at least I'm pissed off at Joe that's known me my whole life.
I'm going to go even further than you. You know, Boston address, you what would really, you know, work back when I was a kid, like all these guys that influenced me, is that their address was my address. It was the same neighborhood.
Right.
It wasn't just a Boston address like New York City is a big place. It was Greenwich Village. They lived, you know, these guys lived because they could afford it too. This is a big thing. This is about economics. And I'll speak strictly to Santa Monica. When I came to Santa Monica as a kid, as an actor, was whatever, before I was a cop, you know, I sublet a rent control place from an actress friend of mine who was getting married to a guy in New York. You know, so I could afford it.
Yeah.
Right? I could afford to live there. Yeah. And this is in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica now, I just moved out of a 1-bedroom apartment with my ex-girlfriend when we broke up. It was $4,200 a month for a cramped 1-bedroom.
Crazy.
And there were homeless people living at the front door and the back door.
Right. And, but I'm stuck. I'm saying, so nobody with the PD.
But nobody can afford that on a policeman's salary.
But you know what? But this is the thing that scares me the most. Is Santa Monica pays great. Santa Monica is probably one of the higher paying agencies and arguably better places to work. You know, and my experience and training, everything is, and it's still not affordable. If you're going to have a family, maybe if you're a single person, you know, because of the rent control. Yeah. So I would, you know, I don't know how this, I'm not a economic guy or whatever, but if you just, you know, especially when officers are starting their career, more than anything, starting their career, that they could live in the thing. There'd almost not be a requirement. You couldn't do that, but subsidize it.
So let's move out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's more realistic because you're seeing we don't really have we don't have these kind of issues in Santa Monica, Venice, really anymore. Right?
Well, hopefully not. I understand there's a rally there today, and hopefully it will be like the rally that it should be, peaceful and people expressing their opinion.
Well, we could talk about all that too. To the point, I think it is important for African American communities to have their neighbors who are police officers in their own community because you need to know each other.
Exactly.
And that's a model that's not being upheld. I want to talk about profiling because this is important because, Shane and I know we're not shy of running into the law over the years.
Hey, guys. I know you, and I'm scared of you just by looking at you. Okay, so yes. Okay.
Well, there's a different kind of racism.
Yes.
And it's like you've seen like the Karen woman in the park last week where she was walking her dog off the leash and she called the police and said a black man is attacking me. She identified the situation, and this woman probably voted for Hillary Clinton and all this other shit. And this is a new kind of racism. So these are the same people. If you ask them, they know the script. The liberal, the far left know the script, but they're utilizing.
To me, it's like I do mean it. Because it's a new kind of fearism.
Of course,
more to me, than where it's like. Because from what I'm understanding, but I don't know much about that particular lady, or something, she like some people have come up in support of like who she is as a person or whatever. But it's just like, that fear that, and we got to be honest about social media and everything else, all these mediums that are so new. I mean, we're talking in the, I can remember I was so excited when I joined, when I was promoted to Vice Narcotics and they gave me a beeper. I thought I was king of the world, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I got a beeper.
Times are different, and the thing that's important to address. This is one of the things that I want to address that's getting overlooked is the way that, first of all, the media's portrayal of law enforcement is enabling people who are in fact truly racist to weaponize law enforcement against the African American community, but then go ahead and pretend through their social media and like there's a lot of these people. And I went through this in a relationship. I went through a breakup and I was accused of abusing my ex-girlfriend when she found out I was dating someone new after she had been abusing alcohol, Xanax, steroids, and been physically violent with me. And I had to go and get a lawyer and a private investigator and a dozen witnesses to testify against the allegations she was trying to bring against me. She even called the police and told them that I was attempting to commit suicide at my previous apartment and I had to move out. And because of my height, my color, and my size, they sent 9 police officers on a check.
Well, no, okay, I can't because that's like specifics. I have to see the call and stuff too. But there is something where I do support in this case. Based upon the call that comes in and the way it comes in, that determines the exigence of how we respond.
Of course,
and also about the availability of officers. Now, I'll say in Santa Monica, one of the things that was very I really appreciated, and this didn't realize until I experienced it as a Santa Monica police officer, is we had a good coverage of the area. Like I said, they paid the city government, the citizens of Santa Monica, they really supported. So there was a good coverage. People can get there and stuff, but
is it standard practice to send 9 police officers on a wellness check?
No. Well, wellness. I can't. I want to be careful to say because, I need to see the actual call to know what type of wellness check or what existed at that location. Because understand this, when someone gives us a wellness check at a location, right? The responsible thing to do for dispatch and for the and they provide information to the officer. Dispatch is the people at the station, is to check the location, see what prior calls went up there, see if they're guns. There's a whole litany of information that the public's not privy to that can influence an officer's mind and how to hold on and the level of response and it's for safety. It's not for aggressive attitude. It's to degress. That's
but
at the outset.
I think the problem with that is like, so if there's a call that comes in, tattooed black male, 9 are coming. Call comes in.
No, not happening. No, it never doesn't come like that. Sean doesn't.
Well, I mean, we saw. Well, basically,
the thing is this: if I'm yelling at a Starbucks,
yeah,
and a white woman is yelling at Starbucks, maybe only 4 are coming, but for that lady, 2 officers are going to walk inside and say, "Ma'am, you need to come outside." If it's me, there's a good chance already hands are on the taser because of how I look. She could be the more threatening.
But wait.
Hold. But what I want to do is talk about this is our experience.
Yeah,
and what we need to do is this is what I think the solution is.
Right.
Is when officers are responding, people like us who fit the profile, whether it's because we're black or just male, because we are of a certain athletic and physical stature, we need to educate the public on the proper protocols to respond to law enforcement to avoid conflict. So let's talk about that.
And okay, with all due respect, we're talking, you're looking at it and people can't see me, or maybe they can. Can they see me? Oh, they can. Okay. I don't know.
Just your feet.
That's
you see your feet.
So you're too handsome.
They didn't see me like okay. No. But the truth is, look, I even talked to my I grew up, like I say, I mean, I grew up affluent. There's no way to say it, regardless of what principles my parents taught me, or my mom, my dad, their situation and stuff.
So what do we do?
Well, wait, this is what I'm saying. But my parents talked to me about law enforcement. My parents. Now, my parents were part of the Independent Democrats. When Ed Koch was a member of them, Bella Abzug and stuff. They were very politically active, and stuff too. But because of that, so they were like But me, I'm like, I remember when they talk, I'm thinking, why are they talking about what? Why am I ever going to deal with the cop? Like in that manner. But because they knew of just the interaction itself, just to de-escalate it. So that is so important what you're talking about. Just because ego comes into this, and past experiences and everything when you're approached. I'm scared. Not scared. That's not the right term. But I'm a civilian now. I've been a civilian since 2012. Okay, even in Santa Monica, half the force is different. In the last 8 years, I am always aware when I see a police officer or a police car behind me, and I'm not saying I'm scared. No, I'm not. I wouldn't go there. But I definitely stop at the, I change my behavior, and I'm not, so I can only imagine, Tom, I mean, come on, man.
Some of the things that I've been taught to do is like, if I get pulled over, well, I don't keep my wallet on me.
Okay.
My wallet is in the center console.
Okay.
And if I get pulled over, which I've gotten pulled over.
Right.
I've gotten pulled over for DUI checks.
Sure.
Which is hilarious because I'm like, open my glove box and it's like my sobriety book and they're like, get out of here. But I keep my wallet with my ID in my center console so I don't have to reach for anything. As soon as I get pulled over, I put it on the dashboard. If you have tinted windows, put all your windows down.
Very good point.
Always put all your windows down. Always put your hands on the wheel. Turn the car off, turn the music off.
Based upon my experience and stuff, and being on, like I say, on the street for the majority of my career, and this stuff, my advice would be, and this would be to anybody. This doesn't know race, but obviously more so for people who might feel like scared for a good reason or whatever. Passage, is pull over at the earliest convenience in a way without
safe.
Where you're not your safety, whatever, so no one and then just wait, don't get out of the car, put you, like, a very good thing, because if your hands are on the wheel, it's visible. Remember the officer, and this is I
would also say too, like, if they ask and you have it, like, I'm gonna get my wallet.
Oh no, never make a move.
No. This is telling them that I'm getting. If they say, "Let me see your license,"
you're right. Ask. Just tell them, like, if you don't have it on your person.
Yeah. Don't start fidgeting around.
But if they just wait for them, they're going to come. Obviously, you're stopped.
Of course,
They're going to come approach you. That's the fact. You're stopped. So just wait, put your hands on the wheel. And it's I don't know if humiliating is the right word, but it's an uncomfortable experience. It is for me, and I've been stopped. I've been stopped by PD.
I've toured
Right.
in a van and an RV where I was driving all across the country. I've been stopped in plenty of states just because I fit the description.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something that, you know, I don't have outrage about.
No, but if you
to
get
that,
it,
because I don't like. I have there's different levels of things that affect me. Like in a situation, like I grew up. If I'm in the wrong neighborhood and I'm in somebody else's neighborhood in a gang neighborhood, like when I first moved to LA, I moved to East LA. That's where I moved, and there was MS-13 all over the place.
Right.
And I went to the laundromat and like.
That's
There was
my neighborhood.
somebody's chick was like talk to me, and then there was a problem.
Well, here's a great example.
But I had to deal with those men in a way of, hey, just so you guys know, I'm not in a gang. I'm a musician. I'm here. I'm like, I don't know nobody. I don't want, you know, and this is your block.
Right.
I respect it. If you want me to leave, I'll leave.
Right.
You know, I'm not, and that's everywhere, no matter what neighborhood.
Right.
And I've dated girls in like the projects in East New York, like in
totally
New York,
legit,
you have
man.
to learn to communicate with other men, and that's and
Dude,
like
what, you want to talk about profiling?
and they're completely different.
But profiling on the other level, when I first came to LA and the Lakers played at the Forum, you know, and stuff, and I was going down there. And I didn't know. This is when we had Thomas guys. We didn't have any of the electronics. So I'm like looking. I'm lost. And you know, I was stopped by an Inglewood officer, right? And said, "Hey, what do you?" You know, he came up to me and he said, "What are you doing here?" Okay, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to a Laker game. I don't, you know, blah blah blah." And he said, "Oh, you don't want to be in this neighborhood."
Yeah.
Now he stopped me because I was a white guy. Okay. The truth is he didn't tell me this, but it's either because he thought I was there to buy drugs, okay, or he was concerned. Because that's what he, you know, was for my safety that I was in the wrong place. And sometimes people don't know, you know that. I mean, there are areas you don't want to be. Like, for instance, what we see going on now when you got rioting or whatever. If you come down there to observe, you have to understand that's your right.
Yeah,
but you're
course.
putting yourself in danger.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and not
another.
help,